is Greg, and I'm here today to introduce to you my new book, Greenlight. It's now available on Amazon. I started writing this book just as quarantine restrictions were beginning to lift in Cebu City, and I just couldn't stop myself from keeping on writing. I really enjoyed writing this one, and one of my main motivations for writing this book was to write a little bit about where I came from and just sort of create a commentary around the situation that working class Filipinos from the southern Philippines find themselves in. I won't pretend that I wasn't heavily influenced by the writers whom I grew up reading. They're a very huge part of how I write, especially how the voices of the characters in Greenlight sound like. And of course, there are those timeless stories that have influenced me to this day. I could pick two favorites, the first one being The Great Gatsby. Fitzgerald is undoubtedly one of the greatest writers who ever lived, and The Great Gatsby is unfortunately the only book that I've ever read that's written by him. I tried reading Tender is the Night, but never got around to finishing it. The Godfather in movies is arguably the greatest movie ever made. It's one of my favorite stories too. And it wasn't just about the great acting, directing, and cinematography in The Godfather that made it great. It was already such a great story unto itself that it only deserved the very best acting and directing out there. Mario Puzo, the writer of The Godfather, is another great writer, and I really enjoyed The Last Dawn, which I read. It's another mafia story of his. Now let me move on to what my book Greenlight is all about. You could easily say that it's a Great Gatsby ripoff. I surely hope you wouldn't think so. It was my very intention to have the story set near my hometown and near where I am working full-time. But it's really set in this fictional island called Siquijor, Newtown. For people of the southern Philippines, especially those in the central Visayas region, everyone knows where the real Siquijor Island is. Well, this one is in a made-up island called Siquijor, Newtown. It's this artificial island right across the city of Dumaguete, which is a real city itself, although it's used fictitiously in this book. I hope that some people who have lived in Dumaguete, who happen to come across this book and read it, do relate to some of the places being used in the book fictitiously. And I hope they feel some sort of nostalgia when they're reminded of a particular place being described. For readers who don't come from the central Visayas area and who haven't been there, I hope it's in some manner a way to invite them to the beautiful places in Dumaguete and Negros Oriental, and for them to create their own memories in there. Now, more on the book. What genre is it? I'd say there's a little bit of a mafia feel to it. There's also an underlying love story, and there's also a coming of age element to it. But if there was any central theme to this book, it would probably be loyalty. I hope that if you do come across this book that you would enjoy reading it, and even if you hated it after reading the whole thing, I'd still say thank you for going through the book, grinding your way to finishing it, and reading it. That means a lot to me. So check this book out on Amazon, Greenlight. The link is in the description, and there are a few chapters there on Amazon for preview if you're interested. Thank you for watching this video. Stay safe.